Improving or increasing workers' wages and salaries emerged as the top national concern among adult Filipinos in the fourth quarter of 2025, according to OCTA Research. In its latest Tugon ng Masa survey, 45% of respondents said wage increases should be an urgent priority for the Marcos administration. Other major concerns included controlling price increases at 41%, access to affordable food at 30%, fighting graft and corruption at 29%, and providing free quality education at 28%. The survey was conducted December 3 to 11, 2025 among 1,200 adults nationwide.
Now, to talk more about this recent survey, we have OCTA Research Fellow Dr. Guido David. Doc, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you again. Good morning, Angela and Diego, and to our viewers and listeners.
Doc, yung survey nyo is very revealing, no? Kasi I mean, we've been talking the past year, and sabi natin, despite of all the corruption, mukhang what's closest to the Filipinos' heart and gut pa rin is yung, salaries and food, no? Is this something that surprised you, or you expected it?
It's not surprising, although corruption has become one of the key concerns for our Filipino kababayans. It's still closest to our heart, yung personal needs natin, because if we don't have anything to eat, of course, that's the first thing we think of. If we can't afford food or our utilities, then that's going to be our topmost concern. And yung controlling the increase in prices of basic goods and services.
Yes.
It used to be the top concern. Noong December 2023, it was at 73%. It was the highest at that time because inflation was very rapid at that time. Pero ngayon, it's down to 41%. So it's been steadily decreasing. The reason is, it's down now to number 2 concern. It's still one of the top concerns. But the reason is that the inflation has already been controlled. It's at 1.8%, which is a healthy inflation rate. It will never be zero or negative because economic growth is still important. So but the increase in prices of goods and services it has basically stayed fairly low. Ang problem na siguro is because wages have not increased that much. Although we do have seen increase in wages. It's at 695 per day, yung minimum wage. And I also heard recently, but it's just like last week, na they increased the prices of or the salaries of the kasambahay. The minimum wage went up from 7,800. So these will help. But at the time of the survey, December, perhaps yun nga, yung mga kababayan natin, for them, their salaries are still not sufficient to pay for their basic needs like food.
Well, how should our policymakers interpret these results, in planning economic or social reforms?
Well, the surveys meant to guide policy naman talaga, and me personally, I like these kinds of surveys that will help, are designed to help the Filipino public. I mean, political surveys, we can't help, we have to do that. Pero what this tells us, what this guides us to do, is to really focus on the needs of the everyday Filipino. They have spoken. Their needs are not just affordable food, which we have addressed already, because inflation has been managed, and we have seen prices of rice as low as 20 pesos. But we also need to address the compensation for our workers, the salaries of workers, yung everyday Filipino who's kumakayod, naghahanap buhay, and they're earning 700 pesos per day. And when you compute that with the normal week rate, that comes out around 15,000 pesos per month. Is that sufficient? Yung survey din namin on poverty showed that the typical household needs about 10,000 pesos per month for food. So kung 10,000 for food, that's 15,000 lang sweldo mo. Then, sagad-sagad lang yan, sagad-sagaran. What about your rent, your other needs, yung transportation, schooling pa kung may mga anak sila.
Itong survey nyo, Doc, where was this conducted? Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao ba to?
Yes, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. This is one of those probes now we have been monitoring since 2021 pa. So we do it every quarter because this is really important for the Filipinos. And one thing I noticed when we break it down, sa Metro Manila, the top concern is still the increase in prices of basic services, 47%. Pero in Metro Manila, the number 2 concern is fighting graft and corruption.
Okay.
43%. And the number 3, yung salaries of workers, 41%. Whereas sa Mindanao naman, number 1 is 42% is the salaries of workers. Pero yung corruption, it's way down. It's only 17%. So I'm not sure why corruption is not as big of a concern there. But it's different according to region. Maybe because they have other more pressing concerns in Mindanao. In other places naman, medyo mataas yung concern for corruption. Like in Visayas, it's 32%. And in Luzon, it's 30%.
So parang pwede mong masabi na pagdating sa usapin ng korupsyon, mas aktibo ang mga nasa Luzon at Visayas as compared to the Mindanaoans. Pwedeng ganun di ba?
Yes, and sa Mindanao, they're more concerned about affordable food, like 38%.
Oo.
And then prices.
Right. And itong survey na to, maaari itong ibangga doon sa nakita natin ng mga survey in the past weeks tungkol naman sa administration. So makikita mo yung dissatisfaction nila, kaya merong pagbaba sa trust survey, trust percentage ng Pangulo at ng administrasyon na to because hindi natutugunan itong salary, 'di ba, yung presyo ng bilihin, gasolina, etc.
Actually, those are good insights, Angela and Diego. Na yung iba-ibang surveys, even without a focus group discussion, we can just compare them and i-align natin. Kasi syempre, if people are satisfied with the basic needs nila, then they would give a higher approval rate sa administration. The administration rating is affected also, not just by corruption, but also yung mga more pressing needs, as you mentioned, like yung salaries of workers and other things. Pero hindi naman, porque mababa sa survey, sa urgent concern does not mean that it's not a concern. Because for example, protecting the welfare of OFWs is also very important, but it's only 1%. Siguro maybe because it's not as high of a priority, but it does not mean na kalimutan na natin yung mga OFW or yung other factors dito, but siguro mas pressing need lang yung salaries of workers. And I'm surprised right now we're seeing number 5, providing free quality education.
That's right.
Considering we already have free, public school education, but siguro, of course, we can't help it. Yung mga private universities and colleges, they charge a premium because they have to stay in business. Education is now become more of a topic for the Filipinos.
Pero Doc, looking at yung mga numbers, although iba-iba ang sinasabi ng survey regards to yung mga wants and needs ng mga ating kababayan, but what's interesting to see is the underlying cause. Mukhang they're all economic in nature because most of them are interlocked in such a way na spending power ang nagiging problema. I know hindi kaya tugunan to lahat ng problema ng gobyerno, no? But do you think they just resolve one or the other? A lot of these numbers would improve. Like if you cannot raise the salary significantly, but you significantly lower the prices, your spending power increases. So baka tumaas ang satisfaction.
Right, and yung economic indicators are all interconnected, and even for me, interconnected din yan with the education.
That's
Kasi
right.
If people are educated, then they will get better jobs. Then the better jobs means na they will be able to afford their cost of living. Of course, pag i-compare natin sarili natin sa first world countries, in first world countries, even the rank and file are making enough to support themselves, di ba? So, because malayo yung economic factors. But, also related sa economic indicators, na hindi ko na-mention, number 6 is reducing poverty. Although it's a bit lower, pero sa Mindanao, it's at 30%. So that means na, we have to look at and address these concerns. Ano bang nangyayari I mean, I don't have eyes on the ground sa Mindanao, so what's happening in Mindanao? And maybe that's why the administration, usually pag approval ratings, they're more affected by numbers sa Mindanao. Hindi rin siya even eh.
Yeah.
So he might have better numbers sa Metro Manila and sa Balas Luzon, but he might not have as good numbers in places like Mindanao na mas lower because people are feeling the economic hardships there, the poverty, the education is a concern, affordable food, and salaries. So you're right. The government should focus on programs, which I think they are naman. And to be fair, these problems will not be solved overnight. We need long-term solutions. Kasama na dyan yung education, yung nutrition, access to affordable food, food security natin. Before we become, a middle or upper middle income nation. And I think at some point, we really have to invest in good things. But of course, kasama rin dyan talaga yung corruption because if most of the taxpayers' pesos are going to waste, hindi na address yung mga concerns natin, even infrastructure concerns, hindi na gagawin. I mean, we can't have tourism kung hindi maganda yung infrastructure natin.
Right.
They all go hand in hand. They're all related. And we have to provide really concrete, solid solutions. Yung pagbigay ng ayuda, for example, I mean, I'm not against it, but it's not a long-term solution. We should have long-term solutions that will help raise the standard of living of our kababayans, reduce poverty, give more education, and then they will be more productive. They will have better jobs and they can help the country. So lahat tayo aangat if we have these long-term solutions.
Parang kumbaga, give a man a fish and then he will eat for a day, but teach him how to fish, he will eat for the rest of his life. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, OCTA Research Fellow Dr. Guido David.
Thank you. Good morning.